Hello beautiful people, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi, and in today's video I am going to be doing my December reading wrap-up as well as my November reading wrap-up, because both of those months I was like insanely busy, so I only managed to read 2 books for each month, and I didn't think that was enough to merit a video in itself for November. I know November is kind of irrelevant now, but that's okay. Again, I only have 2 books for each month because November, obviously, I had the whole Macy's trip going on, and December I had finals week, and the first week of break was spent traveling to Florida for a bowl game and doing all kinds of things, getting reacquainted with my family, all that fun stuff. So not a whole lot of time for reading. Cass and I did do a little mini readathon, which you'll see soon. But anyways, without any further ado, let us hop right into my 2-month reading wrap-up. Husband Material was the sequel to Boyfriend Material, which was the book that my lovely friend from one of my classes loaned me, and I really loved it. Husband Material was very good still. I think I liked the first book a little bit more than I liked the second book, and I'm going to be rating the second book a 4-star, just because, I don't know, there were aspects of it that was not my favorite. It felt a little bit repetitive, but overall it was still a really fun read, and it was really cute, and it definitely kept me entertained on my travels through New York City. Of course, the second book in the Infernal Devices trilogy, I finally can remember what that trilogy is called. Go me. And I had a much better time reading Clockwork Prince than I did Clockwork Angel, which is the first book. The first book was just kind of boring to me. It wasn't a bad book. I mean, I still enjoyed it, but there were definitely a lot of times where I was kind of bored and it was a struggle to get through the book. But the second book was very good. I really enjoyed my time with that book. I was much more engaged during the entire thing than I was with the first book, and I feel like this is definitely where the storyline really kicks into high gear, and I loved it. It was so fun, and I was so excited to start the third book, but I of course had to read Husband Material first, and so I gave Clockwork Prince a 4.5 stars. Just because I had a lot of fun reading it, and you got to really understand the characters better, and it just was much better done than the first book, in my opinion. Now, moving forward to the 2 books that I read in December. This is going to be a very short video, and I am so sorry about that. But the 2 books that I read in December was Clockwork Princess, which is the 3rd book in the trilogy, and The Book of Night by Holly Black. And both of those books were definitely interesting for different reasons. So Clockwork Princess I really loved. I was engaged the entire time. I had a great time with it. I loved the characters. I really loved how it ended. I kind of knew parts of how it would end because I knew 2 of the characters would end up together. I'm gonna be not spoilery, but I knew 2 of the characters would end up together and blah blah blah, but I did not realize that at the end there would be a flash forward into the present day, which at the time was 2008, I think, and there would be another scene with 2 of the other characters, well, one of the characters and one of the other characters, and I did not expect that, and it made me very happy. It was like a full circle moment on a love triangle that I didn't know that I needed, because I've said it probably a million times, but I hate love triangles. I'm not a fan. They're usually not done well at all. That was one of the main reasons why I hated The Betrothed. I just don't like them. I think it's an overused trope that's never done well, but the way that this love triangle in the Infernal Devices trilogy was written was different than normal love triangles. It wasn't oh, I love him, but I also love him, but they don't know, so it's kind of like a cheaty situation. Or, I love him, but I also love him, and I have to pick one or the other. Oh my god. And it was kind of like that at first, but then she kind of realized that's stupid. I can just love them both in a weird way. And then it kind of worked out anyway, and I was here for it. It was shocking, but whatever, it worked out in the end, and it went well. I'm very happy with the final product of that book and my time with that series overall. So the last book I did give a 5-star, just because, woohoo, good endings, made me happy, wrapped up nicely with a little bow. Yay! moving on to Book of Night. I had a very interesting time reading this book. This was the book that I read during my little readathon with Cassandra, which you'll see shortly. It was definitely a struggle to get through the book. It was a very long book. Like, it was only like 300 pages, I think, but it just took so long to read. The words were like kind of small, but like not that small. It should not have taken me like 10 hours to read this book, but it did. It should have taken me like 6 max, because 300 pages, I can read 100 pages in a little over an hour. And I mean, obviously I would have stopped to do other things. So like roughly 6 hours I could have finished this book in. And I did not. And it was very annoying because I really wanted the book to be over with. It wasn't necessarily that I wasn't enjoying the plot. I actually thought it was a really cool premise. I just hated how drawn out it was, and it felt like there was just a lot going on to keep up with. It took me a little while to figure out the magic system. The characters weren't really anyone I would get attached to. I can barely remember their names. It was just a hot mess, kind of, sort of. And like I said, the premise was actually really cool. I liked the idea of like shadows coming alive and like having magic to do with them, even though they never really like got into detail about what the magic to do with the shadows does, which I think could have been a super cool thing. It was a weird experience reading that book, and it again dragged out forever, which really annoyed me. So I 2-starred that one because it could have been something really cool, but it was just so long and annoying. And the only character I really liked ended up being like the main character's boyfriend, whose name I can't remember because I don't really care that much. And he was cool. I liked him, and he was like the only character that I actually really liked. So I don't think I'm a fan of Holly Black's writing, just to be honest. It's not my cup of tea. I might give Cruel Prince another shot. Maybe I will 3rd time's a charm Cruel Prince. Who knows? Maybe now that I'll understand the more like political aspects of Cruel Prince, whereas when I read it before in like early high school, I was more thinking it was a romance book and wasn't really like trying to understand anything else. Maybe that would alter my reading experience of it. I do remember it didn't drag on quite as much as Book of Night did, but I do remember it feeling quite a bit draggy, but maybe that was just because I wasn't loving the book. I don't know. I was very confused for a lot of it, but I don't really remember what happened, so who knows. We will just have to see, but that is going to wrap up my wrap-up for November and December of 2022. I thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to subscribe because I post content just like this twice a week. You should like the video because it's easy, comment because it makes me smile, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye guys!